Hello, kia ora, konnichiwa. Welcome to another episode of the Couch Warriors. Yes, we are in a good spot right now. The Warriors. We are. What was that? Six? Is that 6 games in a row now? 6 games in a row,
Six games
Richard?
in a row, bro. The bandwagon is rolling on. How
Yeah.
blooming good.
Oh, very, very good, very good. And we look. There's so much to unpack in this episode because there's so much that's gone on in the last 3 or 4 days. But I think we should start with some unfortunate news that I think we should sort of just pay our respects to Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. I'm making it sound like he's passed away or something. That's not what I'm trying to say, but it's a sad moment when I was in a team meeting this morning, opening my phone and seeing that he had confirmed that he had done his ACL and that he's out for the season, pretty much done his NRL career, which means obviously done his time with the Warriors. But just before we get started with that, I just want to let everyone know my name is John Lazaron. I'm one of the co-hosts here at Couch Warriors. This is my co-host, Richard the Bandwagon Conductor Laddie. Richard, RTS, what do you got to say?
Oh, mate, just sad news. I thought, watching the game on the weekend, my wife was out for the night, so I was watching the game with the kids, and it was a bit chaotic and things were happening. But so I kind of saw that he'd injured himself, but didn't see too many replays of it. But it didn't look as dramatic as the week
Nah,
before with Tanner Boyd. I thought, it was
yeah,
sort of, and even yesterday when I sort of there was a few reports going around, and I was sort of thinking, oh no, I think it didn't seem like it would be much, even from what some of the comments were from Andrew Webster after the game. Didn't sound like they said, oh, he might have done something, but it didn't sound like it would be a serious or ACL or anything. But yeah, obviously waking up, or not waking up this morning, but yeah, similar, was at work, just had a wee look through the old Facebook and saw that his post pop up, and just heartbreaking stuff, man, because he's been such a um just such a excuse the pun, but such a warrior for the club over the years,
yeah,
like, um, I don't know, I'd probably put him in, my personal probably top 5 warriors of all time.
yeah,
And he's got the sort of the record to back it up. So many great moments. Obviously, 9 seasons in total for Warriors. If you include this one, his first season, 2016, he did his ACL that season as well. So there's something about saying hello and goodbye to the club with
yeah.
ACL injuries, which is probably not a great thing. 2018 Dalian Player of the Year, 2020 Captain of the Year. He really did so much for the club during those COVID years. I've listened to a couple of podcasts recently, one with Cameron George. He was talking about the COVID years and sort of how dark those days were for the club. But he captained the side then, and he was just coming out every week and giving his all. And I think there was a story about him. He'd left his newborn baby, who was a couple weeks old almost, and then when he didn't know when he'd see them again. So just, yeah, he's done so much for the club over the years, and so much to be thankful for. Captain
Yeah.
over 100 games, played over 150. Over 150 games. He's I was looking up some stats before. He's got the second most running meters of a game of all time in the NRL player in
Oh, really?
2019 against the Broncos. Yep,
Oh,
368 meters. Obviously, he had that run last year where he was averaging about 200 meters a game for a while.
yeah,
Um, and he's just done so much for the club. Obviously fullback win. He had a stint in the centres in 2024, didn't really work out, but this year he was
yeah,
just making it work for him. So
yeah,
obviously, yeah, left in 2021, went to go fulfill a dream, play for the All Blacks. Returned in 2024. Just 4 Player of the Year awards, 3 of them being the Simon Mannering Medal Award winners, including last year. He won Player of the Year technically 3 years in a row, so 2017, 18, 19. So, yeah, I mean, what can you say, man? Like, just an absolute stalwart of the club. They obviously don't retire numbers in the NRL, but if they did, he'd be one of the first people to have his number retired, I reckon. So, yeah, I mean, we just wish. I mean, I'm sure you're the same. We wish him all the best for his next journey in life. Hopefully, he
yeah.
can get a few extra years out of the over in the Super League. But yeah, just an absolute legend of the game, a legend of the Warriors, and he will be missed. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Nice words, man. I mean, I totally echo what you're saying, and Yeah, I mean, like I said, I saw the news this morning in my team meeting, and I was just like heartbroken, bro, because even though there was always suggestions that this was going to happen, that that he's done his ACL, as there were reports over the last couple of days saying that he's done his ACL. I was just holding on to that glimmer of hope that maybe he'll pull through. Like you said,
Yeah.
when it happened and he came off, I didn't think it was as serious as that. I thought, maybe something that, maybe a stint off the sideline for a few weeks, but, he'll be back and, he'll be back and he'll be all good, but didn't realize it was that bad. I mean, we never know how bad it is, really when it happens
Mm.
on the field. But, yeah, no, like you said, bro, like, COVID times, he was a big key for the Warriors, even though things were just things, we weren't playing well, we weren't doing good. I remember we got done by 70 points by the Storm. But it was a hard time for that Warriors team, and he was still there, rallying the troops together. I
Mhm.
remember when also it's just it was his attitude. It's his attitude as well, like his love for the team, love for the club as well. I remember when Reece Walsh came on board in 2021, where Roger voluntarily, he took himself out of fullback. That was his
Mm.
position at the time, so Reece Walsh could actually jump in there because I think he said, I wrote it down here. He said that he felt he had that Reece Walsh had too much potential to be held back, so he voluntarily came out of fullback, jumped on the wing, so Reece Walsh could start at fullback, and that move right there opened the door for Reece Walsh's explosive career.
Mm.
I mean, yes, eventually Reece Walsh would have got his time, and you would see his magic that he does all the time. But he, because Roger did that, selflessly just did that, that sort of started Reece Walsh, and everyone started going, "Whoa, Reece Walsh," and that's when Broncos like, "No, we want him back, we want him back." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it just shows you how Roger is. It's not always about him. It's about the team.
Yeah, he's a team
Yeah,
man for sure,
yeah,
eh? And well, I mean, yeah, as I said before, the stats sort of speak for themselves, don't they? Like
yeah,
captain of the year. He was the first Warrior to get Dally M Player of the Year.
yeah,
The fact that he had an influence in the club at 3 different positions on the wing, fullback,
yeah.
and centre. And will be a big gap to fill in the coming weeks. John, did you have a favourite moment of Rogers? Because there's plenty you can talk about. He's
Oh,
a highlight reel in itself.
yeah,
But I've got
yeah.
a couple of moments myself. But yeah, I was wondering if you had one moment in particular that you remember him by, and that'll be your
Oh,
sort of departing memory of Roger Tuivasa-Sheck.
well, there's plenty, as you said, but I'm gonna just go with a more recent one because it's still sort of embedded in my brain right now, in my memory right now, is that game against the Storm, because that game
Oh
against
yeah,
the Storm this year was such an amazing game from the Warriors. I mean, as a team as a whole. But Roger, that hit he did on Will Warbrick, who was coming to the Warriors, Will Warbrick looked like he's going to score, then boom, here comes the boom and gets him out on the sideline. But not only does he just get him out there, he follows up with the whole gesture, the whole
yeah,
no 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 gesture. That for me is that's going to be it's going to be like you said, that'll be clipped in many reels for the future to come.
yeah,
I know his career's not over because he's going to Wakefield Trinity in the Super League next season. And also, even though he won't be on the field for 2026, he'll still be around the team.
yeah.
So I'm hoping that this year they can win a premiership. The Warriors can win a premiership, and that will be the perfect send off for Roger. What do you reckon?
Oh, it'll be so good.
Yeah,
It's so well deserved. One of the greats. Yeah, I had that moment in as one of my top as well, just as a more recent sort of memory that sum him up. But
yeah,
look, I had to give a big shout out to his try saver on Jordan Rapana. I can't actually remember what year it was, but in the corner, I think it was either golden point or it was very late in the game. Yeah,
yeah,
and he did a big diving tackle on Rapana, and it was in a period where I felt it was about 3 games in a row where he did something similar, just these amazing try savers in the corner. But that one in particular was great. And then in his 2016, his first game against the Roosters at Mount Smart, he scored an absolute beautiful runaway try from about 40 metres out in golden point to win the game. So, yeah, but I mean, he's a highlight reel himself. And
yeah,
I had a wee look before, and there's plenty of YouTube clips. So if anyone, wanted something to sort of get them excited, you could do worse than looking up Tuivasa-Sheck. highlights on YouTube there. There's just some brilliant moments.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll miss him.
Well, awesome. Yeah, nah, me too, bro. And I think another good gesture I saw on Zane's Facebook page, the Warriorholic, someone had asked him, you know, should we call Go Media Stadium Roger Tuivasa-Sheck Stadium for like one game? I can't remember if it was for one game or for the rest of the season. I can't remember, but I remember it was along those lines. And yeah, that would be awesome, wouldn't it? If the Warriors named Go Media Stadium Roger Tuivasa-Sheck Stadium, well, for one game, because I know there's all the naming rights and that's the whole that sort of stuff. But yeah, it would be a nice send off for him. But I just reckon the pinnacle send off would be winning a premiership. And you know, we are in a place where we are looking good going towards that. And I think this is probably, along with 2002, this is one of the best Warriors sides we've seen in the club's history. And I don't. That, people can say, is that an exaggerated thing? No, it's not. Look, they're doing so well. We know what Warriors teams of old could be like, and this team is showing the differences between this side and years have gone past. So teams of of the past. So for
Yeah,
example, let's get into the Warriors Dragons game. For example, this was a game that many people thought that Warriors could slip, because the Warriors have a tendency to do that, right? They'll do good against some really good teams, and then all of a sudden they've got the team that hasn't won a game at all season. They're on a big losing streak, and they're looking out of sorts. And this could be a real comfortable game where they could probably go into with a bit of complacency, where they think, oh no, we'll win this easy, no worries. But which in the past has happened, with the Warriors. We've seen that,
yeah,
and previously I would admit that going into a game like this, I would have been a little bit nervous for that reason. But this time I wasn't. This time I wasn't, because I think the Warriors, I think they've got a bit of a different different attitude going into every game. I think they just treat every game as the same. You know what I mean? I think they're treating every game as the same, and they know that they can do it, and they can't take the foot off the gas. They have to keep going and be ruthless against every team, no matter who they are. And
yeah,
I loved seeing the fact that in this game, the Dragons were piling on all the pressure at the start. I remember looking at the stats. I think for the first 15 minutes, the Warriors had like 30% possession, and Dragons, yes, they did score one try through my boy Sidu too, but and he gave it to Tuapiki. But I think it was a bit of a fun gesture, because I saw Tuapiki laughing at the time as well. But after that, as soon as they got the ball and they had some ball, they took advantage of the players. That first try from Cam Pereira was amazing. That first try where he just bet all those players and just, yeah, the seas parted and he just went through.
yeah.
Yeah,
He has the ability to do that, old Camper, doesn't he? Another double for him. I think it's four doubles in 5 games for the Warriors. So
yeah,
he's yeah, more than sort of established himself out on the left wing there. But yeah, I mean my notes are sort of the same, man. Just that, obviously the Dragons put on the early pressure, but the Warriors didn't freak out. They kept composed. They made the most of their opportunities. They played to the conditions really well. Obviously, it was pretty horrendous weather. But through our middles and through our back three in particular, they did a whole lot of dirty work, just getting some meters, getting us up the field, and then we sort of took our opportunities when we could, with Dallin getting the double, Loffy getting the double, and Tamari Martin getting the double. And the second of which looked like he pretty much just walked over the line. He strolled
yeah,
through
yeah,
without getting touched. It was a bit soft there. So,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, there was definitely some questions about the Dragons' defense, but the stats sort of, as you said, the Dragons had more ball in the game. They had 53% possession. We had less runs, but more run meters, more post contact meters. I think the kick return meters was like 250 to 60 or something like that. So that just showed that dirty work that Dallin, Lofkamperera, and Tuapiki were doing at the back there was just really, really, really important. we had more line breaks. We had
Yeah.
to do more tackles, and we had more missed tackles. So yeah, definitely the Dragons were really putting the pressure on us. Errors and penalty counts were about the same, so evened out. So we didn't have to complain about that after.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't have to listen to people complain about that after last week with the old Broncos fans. It's good to see you clipping that little clip up from last week, John, and giving it to
Same Friday.
Sammy Friday, because it was a bit. Just gotta,
I can't believe you said that. Like, what
yeah.
did he say? He said, "Oh, I felt robbed." What kind of thing? Why? I
You
still
lost
can't even
by
get the
30,
words out of my
brother.
mouth. I'm lost for words, mate. I'm lost for words. Is that how someone could say I felt robbed? The Warriors flipping demolished them.
Yeah,
Penalties aside or not, Warriors flipping got through and just demolished them. They won by 30 points. And to
yeah.
say that I felt robbed, like when you say you feel robbed, it's just like
A
something that's
moment.
a little bit obvious. Something
Yeah.
that's really obvious, like the Cricket World Cup in 2000, and was it?
Don't even talk about it, John.
Yeah, no, no. So
Don't talk
I'm
about it.
still hurting from that, but you know what I mean? That's when you feel robbed. That was just like, what the heck are you saying, bro? Far out. But
Yeah,
yeah, and obviously very salty at the time, and also just going back to what I was saying before about a lot of people thought that this could be the game that the Warriors slip, and there, a lot of punters out there were doing it. I mean, we put that reel up, bro. With
yeah.
former Warrior Jeremy Lattimore saying, nah, this week they're gonna break the drought. He was so adamant the way he was saying it. It's just like, man, that's embarrassing. I hope there's a part two to that. I hope there's a part two to that. Where he comes out and says, "Okay, mate, I got it really wrong."
He
But
wasn't
also,
alone though, was he?
nah, Justin Horro as well. I mean, I love Justin Horro. Don't get me wrong, I love him, and I love the Levels podcast. And I just didn't think that. Yeah, I was like, whoa, bro, what are you saying? What are you saying? That's why Brian Fletcher was quick to say, oh, I have a bet with you. I'll put on a
Yeah.
bet with you. Yeah, he was quick to do that because he knew that he was going to win. He knew that that was a bad bet from Horro. So him, and then who else was the other? Who was the other one? Oh,
Someone on was it Rennie
Rennie
Matua?
Matua, yeah, Rennie
Yeah.
Matua, yeah. And he was just like, nah, I feel it. Even Beats, he was just going, oh nah, bro. Darius, he was just going, nah, bro. He was just like, this time, yes, maybe in previous years, but this time, this is a different Warriors team. This team is built differently. This team knows how to win the game. They know
Yeah.
how to win the game. They know how to, um, the rally. If they're behind in the scoreboard, they know how to rally and come back and win the game. They know how to just take advantage and score, pile on the points, and then they know how to defend their line as well. That's why I'm saying, this is what I was trying to say before. This team is different, not an exaggeration. This team is an amazing team all round, and they're doing it well. There's a bit of a mixture of, there's a good balance of experience with youngsters, and I think that mixture, that balance is just working really well, and it's just showing on the field with the results, which is why you're seeing a lot of people out there now starting to say they are genuine contenders. NRL 360. When do we ever get talking about an NRL 360? But they said this Warriors team are, they're running hot. They are genuine contenders. Fletcher, I saw heard him say it the other day, they are genuine contenders, and I just love the fact that the Warriors yep, these Dragons, yep, they're going last. They're going for a bad run, but we are still gonna play our game, and we're still gonna put it to them, and they did, and especially under those conditions. Those conditions were hard,
Yeah.
and even though that's the case, I'm not here trying to say that the Warriors had an awesome game, because I actually thought it was quite a scrappy game. To be honest,
Mm.
I thought it was quite messy. Looking back at it, especially in the second half, we gave away so many penalties, so many six agains, where the Dragons had about, maybe I think they had about 4 or 5 six agains in a row on our line, but they couldn't get through. They couldn't get through, and but if that was another team, if that was the Panthers, if that was the Manly Sea Eagles, if it was the Roosters, then it would be a different story.
Mm.
So I think that's why I think Andrew Epstein was saying, like, yeah, we did some really good things in the game, but there were also some things that we really didn't like either.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
kind of the conditions a lot. Like I think I've said it a lot this year. We're completing our sets at about 80, 86, 87%, and we have
yeah,
been consistently every game. This
yeah.
game was only 70%, so it just showed you, like there was a few errors that did sneak into the game, and I think that was just, as soon as the game started, you could just see that rain pouring down, and
Yeah,
it's going to be a bit of a scrappy game. But I mean, I shouted them out before, but I thought just the middles and the back three in particular, the work that they did just laid the platform,
yeah, bro.
and then everyone else sort of just did their job around the park. Another great game from Tamate Martin in the halves. Obviously, he's there again this week. John? Do we think that he might be there for good? I see Metcalf's playing 6 for the New South Wales Cup. Did you like what you saw from Tamari Martin on the weekend at least?
I did. I thought he was. I mean, he scored a double for starters, but the way he scored that double, like they were pretty easy tries, but it's just that he was putting confusion to the defender's mind, and that's what a
Yeah.
halfback's supposed to do, especially when you're attacking on the line there. So, he was putting the defender in two minds there, and that's what a good halfback will do.
Yeah.
And so he was giving himself the option of me going through, or I'll give myself where to draw the guy in and I'll pass it. So, no, he was great. I thought his kicking game wasn't the greatest. There was one where it came right off the side of the boot out on the full, but that's just one slip up. There's, like I said, the conditions were bad, so gotta give him some grace there. But interesting with Luke Metcalf playing New South Wales Cup. He's also on the extended bench for this game, but I think this will be interesting to see. I'll be keen to see that game because I'll be keen to see how he goes. It'll be interesting also as well because I think he would form a good combination with Jet Cleary, a real dynamic combination with Jet Cleary if he's playing 6. But it also means that Luke Hansen doesn't play New South Wales Cup again for a week because he's on the extended bench. But he might not get a game again in first
Yeah.
grade. So that's the hard thing about being in between, isn't it? Where yes, you are a starting option in New South Wales Cup, but we need you just in case something goes bad in first grade. But then you may not get a game. I mean, he obviously will know that's the case, but it must be hard though. What I'm trying to say is that it must be hard.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
mean, as far as for the Warriors, last time they just bought Metcalf straight in and he didn't play New South Wales Cup. The club got bloody ridiculed for it. So maybe there's an element of that. But I think there's definitely more. There's more upside in getting Metcalf with a couple of games up his sleeve if the intention is for him to be, the 7 going ahead. But I mean, it's hard to know what they're thinking because, the way Tamari Martin's played the last 2 weeks, he's hardly done much for anyone to think, hey, he doesn't deserve to be there. He more than deserves to be there. He scored 3 tries. A couple of extra try assists. I think with the kicking you mentioned before, I think the week before Chanel took a bit more of a role. I think this week that would seem pretty even. I think they had about 8 kicks each. It was a shared load. The conditions are going to play into that as well, and where we were where we were getting to on the field. But they obviously did enough. It was hardly it's the conditions to be kicking for tries or anything. But the team they did enough, played to the conditions, and we'll take another 2 points, that's for sure. I did want to ask you, John, just about the Dragons. They're obviously not having a great season. You had your chat with Setu the other week.
Yeah.
I feel bad asking that, but do you think they're going to win a game this year?
Yep, I'll say yes.
Just
because I'll say yes as a hot take, but I kind of feel. I mean, I feel really sorry for them.
It's hot take. I get what you mean. They don't look like winning, but they have to at some point, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, well, I don't know. It is a hot take, bro, because they're that bad at the moment. I mean, I'm not trying to insult them. I promise you, I'm not trying to insult them. I actually feel sorry for them. Because as a Warriors fan, have we not been there before? Have we not been there before as a Warriors fan, where everything just doesn't seem to go right? Everything just seems out of sorts. Everything off the field and everything on the field just seems to be out of sorts. And at the end of that game, did you see how the TV cameraman zoomed in on the fans and they just looked so distraught? And it was just like sad. It was just like, whoa, man, what are you doing, bro?
The cameraman really did them. Yeah, did them
Really,
real hard there, because there was one guy in particular. They went back to him and he had like a Dragons banner on, I think, or something like that, and they went back to the poor guy and just to look at us. I mean, we've been there before, I mean, I think every NRL fan has been there at some point with their club, it's sort of, this is how it goes. I think for the Dragons, I mean, they've got lots to look forward to next year with some good players coming in, Scotty D and Luke Metcalf, Kaloa Matangi, and obviously Little will sort of take that 9 role, and then Atkinson might have a bit more of a chance to sort of really explode. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure there will be a light in the tunnel for the Dragons, but yeah, it's going to be a long season for them.
Yeah,
So
it's a
if
long
there's any
season.
Dragons fans out there, just know that we know how it is, and we feel your pain, and we'll be cheering you on every week, especially this week against the Broncos. Love hearing
Yeah.
you win over the Broncos.
Exactly. A good point, bro. Like, exactly. As I said, we know to the Dragons fans, we know how you feel. We've been there before. We've been there. We've been supporting Warriors since '95. So, yeah, we've been there before. So, yeah, hopefully you can get one up on the Dragons. Sorry, on the Broncos. Sorry, on the Broncos, and yeah, we'll be supporting you whenever you play because honestly, I would love to see them get a win. And
Oh
it
yeah,
sounds like I'm being sympathetic here, but I do actually feel for them and their fans. Really do. Really do. Awesome. Okay, so look, mate, that's the Warriors and Dragons and stuff. I mean, I think we've talked enough about the actual game itself, but I think we should just do give some shout outs through the YLM. So do you want to tell everyone who's listening what the YLMs are, and you can kick it off as well.
absolutely. So the Waliums are our version of the Dally M's because they're a rort, and Jackson Ford should be leading them.
Yep.
So we give the Warriors players our 3-2-1 points every week. I'll start us off this week. So my 3 points. I went to Tane Tuapiki. I mentioned before, I thought that the back three did a great job, but he was reliable under the high ball. He had the most running meters for the game, 203 meters, 15 runs, 4 tackle breaks, and a big line break off a kick return as well.
Yep.
Which in those conditions, like it wasn't exactly the most open game, but yeah, I thought he just had a great game. Obviously, with Chan still out, the question will be what happens when he returns. But I mean, Tuapiki, I think he's just sort of getting more and more comfortable in that jersey every week. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens there. But yeah, he got my 3. My 2 went to a man who I think I've shouted out about 4 weeks in a row, but I haven't even given him a point. So thought I should probably get him on the tally this week. Old James Fisher-Harris, just leading from the front. 60 minutes he played, and that was with he went off for a wee HIA check as well. So he basically didn't really have the time to sit down at the whole game, because he would have been dealing with that. But yeah, 176 run meters, 17 runs,
Yep.
47 tackles. So just really, just so much mahi going on from him. I've said it time and time again, but I'm just loving what I'm seeing from this year, and I really think he just seems to have found his home, and it'll be hard to see him playing anywhere else in his career. The way that he just looks really happy playing at the Wars, and such an important sort of cog that's in this wheel. And then my 1 point went to Dallin. So yeah, I mean, we've said it a few times. We were a bit critical of Dallin early in the season, but he's just got back to that 2023 form. Loving life out in the right wing there. Another double. I feel like it's about his 4th or 5th for the season. There's 7 weeks in a row that he's scored now, which has equalled the club record with, I think it was Francis Malley. I could be wrong there. But yeah, he had 188 running meters, 21 runs, another one of those dives for the corners. Both him and Loffy did it on the weekend. I don't know if you saw that video the Warriors put up last week of them practicing the dive in the corner with the gym mat out. So it's cool to see that, and just every week one of them's doing it. They both did it on the weekend. So loved what I saw from them. Plenty of other guys that probably deserve a shout out. The rest of the middles, obviously Loffy Camperera as well, but Jackson Ford, Aaron Clark, some good meters off the bench from the likes of Tennisdale Smith and Dimitrik as well. So just a great game all around.
Yeah, that's awesome when you know that there's more than a few players that you can shout out, right? There's numerous players because they're all doing their part, and that's why we are winning. That is the reason why this team is gelling and winning. You know what I mean? So that's what's awesome to see. With this Warriors side in 2026. My 3 points, I gave my 3 points to DWZ, to Dallin. I'm just loving Dallin at the moment. And his game, he's come back to pinnacle form. Yeah, and that's without doubt. We've seen him when he's at his peak, and he's awesome. He was awesome, especially when he was a fullback. I think he was a fullback at some point at the Panthers, many years ago. But I think he's starting to get back to his peak sort of peak performance there, where he's doing well with the ball running. He just hits it up really hard. He's still hitting the ball up really hard, and that's just an awesome. It's awesome to see because it also gives some relief for the forwards that are returning, from the kick after they've just defended a set.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's that. And also he's scoring tries, and he's scoring some beautiful tries as well. I know that last week when he scored that intercept try, and his legs nearly collapsed on him because he was just running out of gas. So he is on the older side, but he's still getting the job done. And
Yeah.
I'm loving it to the point where, I'll ask you this after the rallies, but do we extend his contract? Because I know we brought Will Warbrick on, but DWZ, he's in pinnacle he's in pinnacle form. But anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah,
Yeah.
DWZ, 2 tries, 1 line break, 180 running meters, and 2 tackle breaks. So yeah, awesome. I gave my 2 points to Lofi. Scored 2 tries, ran for 157 running meters, 2 line breaks, 4 tackle breaks. That first try was amazing, where he just got the ball and he just ran through. But if you go back to that clip of that try and you pause, where he is running through the players, there's about seven or six Dragons players around him, and he's just by himself, and he just gets through them and scores that first try. It was beautiful. It was very soft and very easy, but it was good. And also that second try where he did the old dive, diving up in the air, put it in the corner there. So I'm just loving the fact that he is doing really well at the Warriors, and he's blending in really well. Like you can tell that he's really comfortable at the Warriors right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's really, really comfortable. Yeah, and because he's comfortable at the Warriors where he's at, they've made him feel welcome. It's bringing out the best in him. You know what I mean? We
Mm-hmm.
know we always knew he was fast, etc. But stuff like that. But now I think his confidence level has gone up another level, and he's excelling there. And him and Roger when Roger was there. Obviously, Roger's not there anymore, but they were forming a really good combo there, weren't they? On their left edge there. Which is going to be, sad to see not that happening, but I'm sure, I've got confidence in Pompey that he'll do the job as well. So, anyway, so yeah, that was my 2 points for Lofty, and my 1 point went to Mare Martin. 2 tries, 2 line breaks, 4 tackle breaks, made 27 tackles. I just thought, again, he just had a stellar game, steering the side around and just doing what he's supposed to do, and that's why he's there. That's why he hasn't been replaced, because
Yeah.
he's doing an amazing job. And Webster said it himself, he's just playing really well. He's playing exceptional. Why would you take him out when he's doing such an amazing job? So yeah, those are my 3-2-1s for the Walims. But I'll just quickly ask you, mate, just before we move on, as I was asking you, with DWZ coming off contract at the end of the season, do we extend his contract, or have we signed too many outside backs already to you know what I mean? To
I
have
mean,
him released?
yeah, I think when we signed Warbrick, I think I said I'm not actually sure how good he is, and his form for the Storm since we've signed him is hardly filled me with confidence. I think he scored 4 tries 1 game, but with a big body like that, you look at the way that Tuapiki and Dallin and Lofcamp Pereira are throwing themselves around every week, and the meters that they're making from the back. And it could just be a confidence thing. I'm sure that if he gets into a good place and for Warbrick, he'll be able to use that size he has and make his way through. But I mean, yeah, if we did make an offer on Dallin, there'd been I wouldn't be questioning it at all, because the way he's playing, you feel like he 100% deserves it. And I mean, he's playing like one of the best wings in the comp. I mean, he's scored seven tries in a row, and he's not. They're not all easy tries, like there's a lot of wingers out there that are just sort of catching and scoring, but he's doing a lot of work to put that dive in. He's obviously got a couple of intercepts as well, and defensively, I think him and Leo Toa, I don't know what's happened there, but they seem to be, got a good little good little thing going defensively as well. You know, you think back to that game against the Sharks earlier in the year. I think it was our last loss actually, and just like how diabolical the defence on that right edge was that day. And you know, you had Braden Trindle and Will Kenley sort of running rings around us. But since then, those two seem to have got a nice little combination there. And then obviously once we get sort of Licker, I mean, whatever happens in the second row, you know, once Capewell comes back and we figure out who's playing where, we'll be able to sort of shore it up some more. But no, I'm not against us if he's keen to play on with us. It will mean that we've got probably four guys that could be playing for two spots. Definitely three guys playing for two spots. But I mean, I don't want us to be getting rid of Lofty Camperera. He's playing too good, and he just adds. I mean, he's proven the last few weeks actually. You know what, just that extra bit of speed can do. Even that try on the weekend that he did. You know, he sort of put that gas on for a little bit, and he did do a little dive for the corner. He probably would have been all right. But and then that first try he scored was just that lightning speed, just straight through the line. And it's something that the Warriors haven't had for a long time. So, I mean, I'd be more than happy if those two continued being the backs. But I mean, Warbuck's a big boy and he's fast, and I'm sure whatever decision's made is good. But I'm team. Let's keep Dallin on. Can't believe I'm saying that.
Sound good. All good, Brian. Now, just one thing, you just pointed out that I just think is a real big thing to mention is Dallin's defense has improved big time. And I know that, a lot of the times, and we've said this many times before, that a lot of people would blame Dallin for their right edge defense there on the wing there, but sometimes it wasn't really his fault. Like there's other people inside of him that caused him to make movements, and so it's not always his fault. But I've just noticed his defense has just gone up another level in terms of just how he reads the defense, how he's just reading everything. He's reading the attacking play coming at him, and he's making the right decisions about whether to go in or whether to go out and stuff. So I'm seeing some awesome stuff of Dallin in attack and defense. So it's amazing to see. And so let's keep that long curly perm, at the Warriors. I'm saying as well. So yeah, exactly. So let's move on to some Warriors news. The worst kept secret in the NRL. Tanner Boyd has signed on another 3 years until 2029. I mean, this was sort of leaked to the media, or the media leaked it out to everyone else. But Tanner Boyd actually hadn't put pen to paper at the time, and I think that is what Cameron George said. He said no, he didn't sign. When they came out, he actually hadn't signed. It wasn't official, but he is signed now. So he's signed now, and I think I mean, unfortunate obviously that he's not there right now, because he's been a real big reason why the Warriors have gone so well, and that's why Luke Metcalf couldn't slot straight back in when he came back into 7. So, but what I like about Tanner Boyd is his attitude. Again, it's not just the fact that he can kick, he can attack, he can defend, and you can read the game well, steer the team well, but the fact that he can, he's got his team attitude. Like, he was playing New South Wales Cup, for most of the season, and took on, wasn't playing, he had some games in first grade, wasn't doing that great, but he had a player option to extend his contract, and he took it. And apparently he said other options. He said other options that he could have taken up, and he didn't. And I know, I think, who was it? I think it was, who was it? It was one team that tried to sign him up, and he actually said no. He turned it down because he wants to stay at the Warriors.
I think it was the Bunnies? Or am I imagining that?
Yeah. So I think it was South Sydney, wasn't it? It was South Sydney, yeah. So he turned down the Bunnies, and that just shows you that he is in demand. He is in demand, but he's like, no, I want to stay here. I'm loving it here. And that just shows you what the culture at the club is doing, that they're creating a culture, an environment where players actually want to stay. They want to stay there. And it's like what Mitch Barnett said to me when I spoke to Mitch Barnett a few weeks ago when they were down in Wellington, when after the media session, me and Mitch Barnett had a bit of a chat, and I was just saying to him, oh man, I wish you weren't going. And he just said to me, he was like, brother, I promise you, if I could stay here, I would. I love it here. I love the Warriors. He said it to me. So, I mean, I heard it firsthand from Mitch Barnett myself. So, the point I'm trying to make is that they've created a great, awesome environment at the Warriors. And I think that's what's awesome. They're playing well, and things are going right on the field and off the field. So, yeah. Awesome to see Tanner Boyd sign on to the end of 2029. The other signing contract extension is your boy Harris Tavita, Chanel Harris Tavita. He signed an extension for 1 year. It wasn't a surprise that he only did 1 year, as it was leaked. The media leaked it out as that he was looking for just a 1 year deal, and there was a lot of thoughts, theories, thinking that he only wanted a 1 year deal because maybe he's looking to move on to the PNG Chiefs and get those tax-free Australian dollars after that.
There's a few
So
players doing that, just signing that 1 year
yeah,
deal and keeping 2027 2028 open. So,
yeah, yeah.
it'll be interesting. I mean, fair enough. He might end up re-signing with the Wires if we win a couple of premierships by then. But
Yeah, well, maybe if he wins it this year, be like, sweet, my job is done. I've got one here. Let me, let me rake in that cash. I mean,
take some.
that PNG Chiefs team might look pretty good when you think about it, because even Penrith, there are a lot of players coming off contract, and a lot they've, from what I heard, was that they had they asked permission to go talk to other clubs before November 1, but the Panthers said, nah, you wait till November 1. So I have a feeling that they wanted to negotiate with PNG Chiefs. That's what I'm thinking. But anyway,
Yeah, but you also
so
have to realize that you will be, going to PNG, and it looks like they've got a pretty nice setup, but it's basically going to be like a commune over there, it's just going to be this nice little complex where they're all staying. It'll almost be like COVID years all over again,
yeah,
So,
could you
I
do it?
mean, I'm sure it'll be worth it for a couple of years of some, 700-800K on tax-free dollars for sure. But I mean, just great news for the club to re-sign both of them. I mean, I've got my questions about Tanner Boyd. I mean, obviously the decision to be made before the injury, so I'm just really hopeful that he can, come back next year and return to that form that we saw him, because there is an element of risk there. Re-signing someone for 3 years who's been in career best form, but he's going to have 9 months off, have pretty serious surgery, a lot of rehab to go through. So, but yeah, it was cool to see that little video. That he said it in a little team huddle. I don't know if you saw that on the Warriors page, but yeah, it was really cool. And you saw what it meant to the rest of the team, and to him, the fact that he was there. He sort of said, it obviously been a really hard week, but was really thankful for the club and all the opportunities he's got there. So, let's go 2028, 2027. Yeah. What year are we in now?
2026, mate. 2026. Yeah. Nah, agree. And that's what I meant before by saying that he's a team man, and his attitude is really, he's got a good attitude. So yeah, I saw that clip. So we'll move on to talk about state of origin. But before that, did you see that Brad Fittler comment he made on the Chester the Molester comment on the new on North Queensland Cowboy player? Do you see that?
Yeah, I did see something about that. I was watching a reel, but it was on silent, and I couldn't quite. And the captions were all wrong, and I couldn't quite figure out what was happening. But is that what he said?
He said, "Yeah." I don't know why he said that. Chester the Molester. But, I mean, he did. He did apologize to the club and to the players. So, but I was just like, embarrassing, far out. That's a really embarrassing media moment, mate. Embarrassing media moment.
I mean, I'm sure a lot of media people have their stories. Obviously, you've had some time in the media, and your sports journal and a few of your roles, John. You got any stories you wanna share with the fans?
Yeah, there's a few I can probably recall. I mean, the most latest one is really, really embarrassing. I was working at an event, and I was talking to Mikey Sherman, the former TVNZ reporter.
Yep.
And I was talking to her, and I was just going through some stuff, about the event, getting ready for the media. As I was wrangling the media, and I had a pen in my hand, and I was just talking to her, and then the pen dropped onto the ground. And then I went to pick up the pen and I farted. Yeah, honestly, I just did a little came out, and I was like, oh, far out. And I looked up and I looked at her. She just looked straight at me, and I was just like in my mind going, oh, please, you didn't hear that? Please, didn't you hear that? And I was trying to pretend nothing had happened. So I was trying to start a conversation, but I couldn't get the words out of my mouth properly. So it's like it was a really, really. I was like, I bit down and the spark came out out of nowhere, and I was like, oh, obviously I didn't do that on purpose.
Was there a bit of background noise to hide it, or was it
No,
pretty
no,
serious
no,
situation?
because it was the media, so the media were there in advance to, to get ready and stuff, and to to be briefed and stuff. And I was just like, oh, I was about to brief her about some stuff, and then
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
and then I really hope that she didn't hear it, but I was trying to play dumb, but I didn't do a good job of it because I was trying to speak and talk like like nothing had happened, but the words weren't coming out properly out of my mouth. So
hopefully
yeah, I don't.
it'll come out in her memoirs. When she writes about all the drama that's been happening recently, it'll be like, oh, and then I was at this event
And
with
John Lazaron
John from
farted,
Couch Warriors.
just farted. Yeah, yeah. Sorry if if she ever sees this, my apologies. I didn't mean to fart in front of you. I really hope actually that you didn't, but if you do see this, obviously you'll know now. You'll know now. So that would probably be my most recent, most embarrassing moment in the media, where yeah, I let one rip in front of Mikey Sherman, and yeah, yeah, I just didn't recover from that. I didn't recover from that at that moment. I didn't recover. So yeah, that was my embarrassing media moment of late. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I can't say I've had as many. Yeah, it's sort of the same with the same sort of exposure to the media as you, John. So I can't quite I've got no stories for you. I apologise, but
no worries. Oh, you got nothing on the TAB when you're in the TAB podcast when you were doing all that?
there would have been some stuff, but yeah, nothing sort of comes to mind. We did like spend some time out in the streets of Auckland, down Queen Street, doing a bit of
Yeah,
promo stuff, but everyone was generally pretty well behaved. Just giving some drunk Irish fans some bit of stick uh, before the first test in the most recent series. Yeah, when they playing at Eden Park, the game we won by quite a bit, but it's all bit
yeah,
of a blur. Few beers were involved at some point as well, so that probably adds to that.
yeah, yeah. Well, the thing is, mate, I don't really tend to get that embarrassed very easily, but that was an embarrassing moment. Like it was like because I didn't expect it, and it was just like it's just you're trying to have a professional talk with a journalist, and yeah, just a fart just popped out. So sorry, apologies, but
Nothing
yeah,
funnier in the world than a fart, is there? It just brings so
nah.
much joy to a boy, that's for sure.
Normally it does. That's the thing, but at that moment it just brought me shame. But anyway, normally it does, yeah. But that brought me shame. So anyway, let's move on. State of Origin. Just have a quick couple of minutes or so on State of Origin because I'm sure we'll talk about it more once the game is over.
Hmm.
After tomorrow. State of Origin, mate. I know that we know I support Queensland, you support New South Wales. How are you feeling about this game in terms of the team that's been picked, etc.?
Oh, I mean, we sort of touched on it last week. I think
Yeah.
there's a few selection choices that I would have made, but
Mm.
maybe Laurie Daly's seeing it differently. And I mean, he's a lot more involved with some of the guys. So I think on paper, New South Wales probably should have it. They're favourites playing Sydney. But I mean, I'm never going to count Queensland out. Like there's that old saying that Queensland get Origin, and I hate to say it, but I think they do seem to the last few years have proven that they do get Origin a bit better than New South Wales from time to time. Doesn't seem
Yeah.
like there's been too much banter this year. Like normally you get a bit of to and fro, and maybe it's just I do feel like I'm a little bit less invested in previous years. I don't know if you feel the
Yeah.
same. I don't know,
Oh,
but I'm just enjoying the NRL so much that
yeah.
I'm almost just like just Origin can get stuffed because I'd rather just only having 5 games of
Well,
NRL on the
mate.
weekend was an absolute debacle. Like
Yeah.
what am I
Well, maybe
supposed to
that's a
do
distraction.
Friday, Saturday night? Like there's one less game on Friday and Saturday. Only one game on Sunday. It was just, my weekend was a bit lost. So I think I'm almost full chips in on just let's just scrap Origin, and give us some more NRL action.
Oh wow, that's a big statement. That's a big statement. I mean, I think maybe just the Warriors winning the way not just winning, but the way they are winning has just been a bit of a
Yeah,
distraction, a good distraction, and because everyone's just so fully focused on the Warriors at the moment. So maybe that's what
I
it
mean,
is. But yeah,
I'll
anyway,
be up watching it, for sure. I'll stay up
yeah, of
till
course, of
midnight on a
course,
Wednesday to watch it.
yeah,
And then I'll be able to have a few little few bits on here and there to keep things exciting for myself, like just
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I think, I mean, New South Wales should win, but it'll be tight, I reckon. That's my prediction.
Nice, nice. Well, look, we'll talk about it more when the game is over, and in the next podcast we'll talk about it. We'll review the game there. But let's move on to the Panthers game. So that is a. So do you have the team in front of you, mate?
I do indeed, yes.
Do you want to read the team out?
Yeah, for sure. So,
Yep.
pretty similar team to last week, really, apart from obviously
Yeah.
a few injuries. Got
Yep.
Taintua Picky at the back again, so Chance is still out with that neck injury. We've got Dylan Watini-Telesniak and Alofiana Camperera on the wings, Ali Lautoa and Adam Pompey in the centres. So Pompey comes in for Roger. You imagine that'll be the centre combination for the rest of the year, providing that there's no injuries. But we do have Rocco Berry available again, so it'll be interesting to see if he is able to sort of sneak his way back into the team. We got Chanel Harris-David and Tamare Martin in the halves. We've got, sorry, I've just lost the team there. We've got James Fisher-Harris, Jackson Ford, props, Wade Egan at hooker, Luka Halasima, Jacob Laban, in second row again with obviously Kukapoel still out as Mitch Barnett, but neither of them have been named in the team, which is interesting considering the games in Sydney. But Webster's obviously got a plan. With Aaron Clark at lock, and then on the bench we've got Sam Healy, Tennis Dow Smith, Dimitri Vaimoaga, Murata Neokore comes in for Edimir Toiava, who obviously went off with the HIA last week, looked pretty nasty. And then we've got Kalis Fetialofa and Luke Hansen sort of rounding out the bench there. And then our non-playing reserves, Makaya Taufua, he's been there about 3 or 4 weeks in a row, so hopefully we'll get to see him at some point this season. Luke Metcalf and Jason Salalio is a name I'm not too familiar with, to be honest. So I suppose the big talking point is the new guys coming in. So you got Pompey, which we expected. Laban tapping that spot with Nuakore coming onto the bench, which so I mean, he's obviously sort of on the way out next year, but we'll probably see a couple of games of him popping back in there from time to time. I thought, maybe I'm sort of asking the question about what the sort of Morgan Gannon is, because we saw him for one game, he came on for 5 minutes and had a head knock, obviously been playing New South Wales Cup. I think he's had another head knock recently, and then I saw somewhere that he was out for personal reasons this week, so be interesting to see whether, he hangs around. He probably hasn't come all the way from the UK just to play New South Wales Cup, has he? So, but yeah, no, I mean, a good team, all things considering. What were your thoughts on the Origin guys being rested? Obviously, Penrith have got theirs on the extended bench. Would you have thought that maybe something similar would have happened with the game being in Sydney and the Warriors game being in Sydney as well?
Well, my initial thought was, remember last year when Mitch Barnett came into his second season of Origin, played one game and then came back and then injured himself. Was it directly after Origin? Like, was that the game directly after? I mean, it might not have been, but for some reason I keep thinking it is. It was that game sort of after the game for the club after Origin, because he missed State of Origin 2 and 3, didn't he? He played in State of Origin 1 and then missed 2 and 3. Is it? I'm pretty sure that's the case, but I mean, I could be totally wrong here. I'm just going off my mind.
It was a little bit later in the season.
You sure?
Yeah, because I think it was around 15, 16 when he did it, and then Metcalf was the week after.
That would have.
But I mean,
Yeah, that might have been
maybe game 2.
Yeah, maybe around that time. But anyway, but that's what I was thinking. Maybe I was my initial thought. There's no background on it. There's no facts around it. It was just a thought that maybe Webster is just resting him just to keep him rested. Like, he's only come back he's had a few injuries now, and just get his body back in line.
Yeah, but I mean,
I don't know.
You'd think if we were playing against the Dragons, you'd understand that. But like, this is arguably the biggest round robin game in the club's history.
Well, do you expect the Panther players to play?
Do you expect,
I know it is. I agree with you, but do you expect Cleary and all them to come back as well and play?
Well, they've at least given them the option, haven't they? They've sort of said, hey, if you're feeling fit, feeling up for it, we'll put you there at least. But we've put ourselves in a position where we can't do that, So I just like the
Yeah,
games in
but like,
Sydney as well. Like I know last year they I feel like there was a game where they didn't do it for either Cape Bell or maybe it was Cape Bell and Barnet, because it was like I think the game was back in Auckland, so they would have had to travel back
yeah,
over. And I think there was actually against Penrith as well, and similarly the Penrith like a whole lot of Penrith players didn't come back over. But the fact that there's no travel, no extra travel that would be needed. I was a little bit surprised, but yeah, I mean that would make sense if they're trying to protect them in that respect. But I imagine there's going to be a whole heap of guys who will be backing up over the weekend. So I just thought
yeah,
with it being such an important game for the for the
yeah.
club, and
Like,
this is the real test of where this team is. Like we've beaten the Storm, beaten the Broncos. What are we coming into this game? 6-game winning streak. We've won 8 from 10, I think, or maybe 9 from 11, or something like that. So
but
yeah, I just thought
does it
that.
feel that way?
Pardon me?
Does it feel that way though? Because like I agree with you that this is the big game, like the number one versus number two, right? The two informed teams, going against each other. But at the same time, I don't feel like it's that big game yet because of the possibility of a lot of players not playing. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying there's going to be like both teams are having their B teams. I'm not saying that. But some like obviously Capewell, Mitch Barnett are out, and a couple of them may miss out on from Penrith, but they're still going to have a lot of players there that are doing so amazingly. So I don't know, but it doesn't feel that way yet. I think if you had a full team named at the start and there was no origin, I think that would be this is where we're at. We'll find out where we're at, but I feel like they all have
I
to be
mean,
playing to
everyone's still talking about it. All the Aussie media is still over it.
yeah
They're still saying that this is going to be,
yeah.
the game of the season so far, and and a lot of commentary saying, this is the test of the Warriors. Like if they win this game, then they're the real deal. But if they lose it, then it's like, oh well, Penrith will probably win again, won't
Oh,
they?
I still think we're the real deal. I just think I honestly, I think we're still the real deal. And even if we lose, I'm not saying we're going to. I'm not saying like we're going to lose. I'm just saying I still think that, just don't take it with a grain of salt. Just don't worry too much about it. But I'm looking forward to this game. I really am, and I really am looking forward to this game. And I'm trying to think of words to say, to be honest. But yeah,
Yeah, well,
I'm just
it's on
yeah.
my birthday. My birthday this Sunday.
Is it?
I'll
Is it?
be I'll be
Ah,
staying up. I'll be staying up, watching it. I even said to my daughter, if you want to stay up late, you can. Be a late night for her, but it's worth it for the Wires. And I told her, this would probably be one of the biggest Wires victories of your life. She's
of
7
your
years
life.
old, so she's sort of had it pretty good the last few years, but she lived through the COVID years, and seen some dark Warriors times. So, but yeah, so it'll be the biggest birthday present for me, to be honest. If the Wires could get up,
Right.
it's always nice parking up on the couch on your birthday and being able to, sit down and watch the Wars. But I honestly think, yeah, if we do win this, I think it'll be huge for the team, and it would only just sort of do wonders for the momentum going forward.
Eh, Boost their
Obviously, yeah,
confidence, eh?
obviously,
Boost their confidence. Yeah.
1v2. Penrith have got a pretty good head-to-head record over us. They were leading 32-17. They've won 10 of the last 11, which I was quite surprised about. I thought, obviously, we had that magic round one, but I thought we would have snuck a few more in there. But now we've had a really bad luck against them in the last few years, and that's while they've been on this ridiculous run they've been on.
Yeah.
Penrith have won 5 in a row. We've won 6 in a row. So yeah, it's shaping to be just an absolute barnstormer of a game. So I
Yeah.
can't wait. But yeah, I mean, I'd go as far as say it's definitely one of the biggest club games that I can remember, and the round robin games, at least in the club's history. If they can win it, it'll go a long way for the team, and the confidence of the team and the supporters, I reckon.
Nice, bro. Nice, bro. I mean, I hope the conditions play out because Australian weather apparently has been pretty crap lately. So hopefully it will be like, a dry weather game. You know what I mean? Hopefully it'll be a dry weather game.
I mean, we
But
proved last week we can play in the wet, so
I mean, yes, true. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it, bro. Don't get me wrong. I'm really looking forward to this, and it'll be a good game for us to win, and then we'll see. We go straight into another bye. So yeah. No, it's going good. It's going good. I can't wait for it. And it's on Sunday, I think it's 8 p.m. New Zealand time, 8:05 New Zealand PM, 8:05 New
8:15.
Zealand time, 8:15 New Zealand time.
Yeah, the glorious 3 games of league for my birthday. I can't wait. It's going to be me.
Yeah.
Friends staying for the weekend, so yeah, I'll be parking up, a few beers, probably some takeaway or something, and yeah. Oh, just yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying before about like it's a shame that these big guys aren't playing. I do kind of hope that like the Cleary plays and
Well, so do I.
particularly Cleary. Like that's the test if we can.
Yeah.
Because they've named. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out where the team is.
But that's what I was trying to say, bro. Like, while you're looking for that, that's what I was trying to say. Like, unless they play, are we really testing ourselves against the top team? Do you get what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
If they don't play, if they do, then awesome. But I'm just saying, if they don't, then we're missing players. They're missing players, and don't get me wrong. We've still got an awesome team, and they've still got an awesome team. They've still got the likes of Moses Leota. They've got heaps of players there playing, doing really well. So have we. All the young guns and stuff on the team. So we've still got an amazing team, and they've got an amazing team either way. But I just think I would love to see all at full strength. For me, that would be the pinnacle of watching that game. But still an amazing game. So I'm not trying to downgrade the game or anything. I'm just saying I'd love to see everyone in there. But
yeah, Jet Coggo's playing 7, so it's harder the same as Cleary as that. But Cleary didn't play when we beat them that time Magic round as well. I've got to remember they were a little bit under strength that game too, and we still celebrated that. So
well, we were very under strength in that game. We were very under strength in that game. So yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it, bro. It's going to be a great game, and I think that 2 points will just go a long way, and you're going to see the Warriors fans just go nuts. Warriors fans are we're going nuts already. We're going nuts already, but I think we're just going to go absolutely nuts if we win this game.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Up the wires,
well,
baby.
Look, up the wires. Well, look, hopefully, listen, New Zealand Warriors, if you're listening, give Richard that birthday present that he wants, a win against the Panthers. Exactly. So should we pack it up from there, mate? Should we have anything more you want to say just before we finish off?
No, man. I think we've covered a lot. Just obviously a big shout out to Rog, shout out to the boys, shout out to Tanner Boyd. Hopefully he can come back hot next season. And yeah, as I said, I can't wait for this Sunday. It's gonna be great.
Yep. Nice. Well, thanks everyone for listening for another episode of the Couch Warriors. We are so thankful and grateful for your support. We are seeing the support, in terms of likes, comments, and subscribers and followers just piling up on all platforms, and we're loving it. So just don't stop. Get everyone, if you've got friends that love the Warriors, tell them to jump on and give us some more support. The more support, the better for us. So, yeah, everyone have a good night, and we'll see you soon after a good Warriors win over the Panthers.
Otherwise, baby, choo-choo, we've got the fifth.